Sir, the time is now 10 p.m. It's time to start Rated Point 5.
I see. I guess there's no helping it. Time to give the people what they want. It's showtime! All right. Begin broadcast.
Roger. Now linking our broadcast center to some rich guy's satellite. Broadcast on!
Graded Point 5!
Hello, and welcome to I am joined by many fabulous guests, and also familiar faces. Always doing well.
Xavier, why do you sound like you're not talking into your microphone?
Oh, I totally am.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Gotta use my big boy voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could barely understand you, man.
I had no idea what you were saying.
Gonna have to enunciate.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Who did we lose? He said we might. He said we might lose him, but if he pops back in, I'll bring him back.
Oh, damn. We lose as soon as the show starts. That's a shame.
So let's go around and introduce everybody that's here. I am Xavier. Hello, and I'm running things, unfortunately. So yes, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Also joining us is Mike.
So I am.
Also joining us is Mike Murphy. So we have two flavors of Mike.
Yeah, I'm the dark mate. What's up?
That sounds like a gay porn.
Yep.
Two flavors of Mike.
It's gonna
One
get
cup.
nasty.
Wait.
Two Mikes, one cup.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
We got Piper.
Yep. Somehow. I don't know what I'm doing here.
You are here because you belong to the show.
Right, I'm like contractually obligated to be here. Sorry, guys. No idea what's going on.
I'm sorry.
give me both.
We have Micah Curtis.
Hello.
And we have two new faces. Gentlemen, care to introduce yourselves?
Odds and evens for it?
Okay, but I always pick rock.
Picked one of them.
I mean, odds and evens is 1 or 2. All right, so it's going to be odds and evens says shoot, and I'm going to pick odds. Ready? Odds and evens says shoot. Odd. You got a 0. I got a 1. Hi, I'm Neff, also known as Nefarious in the chat. I am the creator of Global Frequency Studios and the author and creator of Mavericks, which is currently in demand on Indiegogo and live on Kickstarter, but we don't talk about that.
Terrible.
Did you guys hear anything? I didn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
What?
No, I wasn't close enough to my
Not
mic.
a word.
I wasn't using my big boy voice.
Okay, so it's my turn. My name is Eric Hodson. I'm at Dreaded Dinosaur, creator of Dreaded Dinosaur Man on Webtoon. One of the co-creators of the Roddy Piper Kilted Avenger comic book, and a media personality on the Indie Volt network.
Thank you for coming, gentlemen. I'm glad to have you all here. And we are here today to pay our respects, possibly our final respects, to one of the greatest television series of all time.
Oh, for fuck. That's debatable.
It is debatable, but
Piper.
Let's debate it.
yes.
If
But
it was so great, I would have watched it.
Oh, you definitely. Piper, I feel like you're not really giving your all to your contractual obligation.
Yeah.
Don't you have an animated avatar? Like, why are you using this flat icon? You know, like when you could be using the full-on animated Piper that I've seen.
Yeah, because do you see Xavier and Mike here? Our Mike?
Mhm.
Yeah, we matches. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You see?
someday. But
Well, you want the animated bleh. I can talk, I swear. But
he wants you to be an anime waifu.
Anime waifu, is that what you want?
I mean, I think the audience would appreciate it. I certainly think it would be higher, production quality. And seeing as you're owned by the show, I would kind of caution your producers to lean into the fact that, you're not using all of the resources at your potential to really elevate the content.
So now Piper is property.
Hold on.
Oh no.
I
Terrible.
thought it was just Hat Man.
Oh man, I'm just a visitor here, right?
We already got our first super chat. Servant of God says Babylon 5 was a great show. We need to make Piper watch it. We
I
might do
was too
something.
busy watching other awesome sci-fi shows.
Piper didn't have TNT growing up.
Yeah, I did. But I
I was
used to watch MacGyver.
I gave you an
He
out.
was giving you an out.
Oh. I don't need an out. I was watching cooler sci-fi shows, you guys.
But you know, I could sit here and tell you a little bit about B5, but I think it's best to let B5 kind of talk about itself.
Are you watch clips? Cool.
Yes. Just get us started.
It was the dawn of the third age.
Hold on, I think I forgot to share audio.
No, you didn't.
I always forget. Every time.
No, you didn't this time.
No, it remembered this time. Okay, here we go.
Dawn of the third age of mankind. 10 years after the Earth Minbari War.
I can't hear shit.
I can hear it. It's just
Very
Like
faint.
it- yeah, I can't tell what they're saying, rather.
Humans and aliens could work out their differences.
The clip needs to use its big boy
It's a
voice.
port of call.
Yeah.
Home away from home for diplomats, hustlers, entrepreneurs, and wanderers.
It's knockoff Star Trek. Yay.
no, it isn't.
2,500,000
Star Trek is
spinning
Deep Space
metal.
Nine was, at least for the first season, knockoff Babylon 5.
Fair enough.
It can be a dangerous
I don't like Deep
place,
Space Nine though.
but it's our last best hope.
This is just as good.
This is the
Yes,
story
I'm gonna
of the
mess
last
with
of the
y'all so
Babylon
that y'all can
stations.
like
The
convince me
year
to,
is 2258.
so that y'all can geek out
The name of the place
and
is
tell me why I need to like this.
Babylon 5.
Okay.
I was gonna say Piper gonna troll y'all, and it's gonna be great because I can already sense slight tiltedness coming. There's already salt in the air with the remake. So with Piper needling you about like the quality of the show and everything, we might see some interesting clippable content.
Right?
Let's get this
As
shit
soon
show
as
on the
I
road.
get
All right.
my face working, because for some reason my tail's wagging, but the rest of me's not moving. I'm not even blinking. It's kind of creepy.
I mean, look, in fairness to in fairness to Piper, like a lot of times when I try to recommend this show to people, it ultimately comes down to that whole thing of like you had to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very 90s, late 90s show, you know. But at the same time, that's also a positive in a lot of ways because, like you mentioned, like it's DS9 was basically Star Trek Babylon 5.
There is also the debate to be had on whether or not DS9 was ripped off of Babylon 5, but the timetables there are very fuzzy because JMS was shopping it around for a couple of networks, and so CBS had access to the Babylon 5 Bible at some point, and it may have because it's all alleged, nobody knows for sure, have inspired the first season of DS9. And you can see some of the parallels in characters, but where DS9 started off as kind of okay, and then just kept getting better the longer it went on, B5 just started off really good and just stayed really good for a long time until the end because of producer shenanigans behind the scenes.
Yeah, the big thing also is the only thing in my opinion that stayed constant in DS9 was how fucking badass Benjamin Sisko is.
Oh yeah, he kept going, and then he ascended when he shaved his head and grew the beard.
Yes. And then there's the time he was in a movie with Edward Norton and single-handedly destroyed racism.
Yeah.
One of the things about Babylon 5 that I think it's harder for new people to get into is just because the CGI gets dated really easily. This was the first show to ever use completely computer-generated graphics for all the outer space sequences. And so it does date itself by that standard, whereas something like Deep Space Nine, for example, still using the traditional modeling techniques. The in-camera model work still holds up and still looks good, whereas now we've come accustomed to how CGI should look, and seeing the old stuff can make it kind of hard to really get lost in the lore if you're looking at it from a new person's perspective.
As I understand, right, B5 though was the first show to be filmed in widescreen. Even though it was broadcast to standard 4:3. So it was still filmed and framed in widescreen and 16:9. I don't know why. I guess JMS knew that was coming down the pipe eventually.
Pretty much. He's said similar stuff to that.
But let's go ahead and try and get everybody up to speed.
Piper had the eyes working for a second there.
It's it's freaking out, and the eyes are just like twitching like crazy, and nothing else is working. And then suddenly the mouth will twitch like crazy and open.
Yeah,
I don't know what its deal is, but I'm fixing it. I'm working on it.
Piper, if you can't get it working, it's okay. You know, I was only teasing you.
I wasn't.
I like using it. It's a lot of fun.
But I'd like to go ahead and kind of get you up to speed, kind of where to start, and to really explain the Babylon project and why we have a station called Babylon 5 and what happened to 1 through 4. We really got to start with the Minbari War. And Mike wasn't here, or Mike Murphy wasn't here when we were talking about it. We're going to go up to the Battle of the Line, but not talk about the surprise.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Earth kind of got out into the cosmos and started meeting people. You know, as you do. And we kind of discovered the greater galactic community. They started getting involved with shit because Earth was really trying to flex and say, "Hey, we're going to be a player," and that's how we got involved in conflicts like the Dilgar War, which but it's not really important. Well, the big kid on the block that everyone kind of doesn't want to mess with is the Minbari. Nobody really knows a lot about them. They kind of keep to themselves, but they're old. Not the oldest on the block, but they're old. Well,
more importantly, they have a massive military.
A huge military. Well, one day, one of our fleets runs across a Minbari ship. And this is where you get the difference in culture and where communication becomes very important and how mistakes happen. Which I think JMS kind of took this from Ideon.
I was about to say that. I'm like, this is very similar to how Ideon starts.
Now, I talked about this to Mike, so Mike knows what happened. But I want to tell you, Piper, if an alien ship comes at you with their gun ports open, what is that? What do you get from that?
I'm gonna assume that they're ready to shoot. Days, probably me.
And what would you do?
Shoot them first.
Congratulations, you're Earth.
Yay!
War crimes.
War crimes.
Yay! War crimes.
They shot and destroyed the Minbari
clearly
cruiser.
Not Florida or somewhere with the stand your ground laws. Then, damn.
Well, they shot and destroyed this Minbari cruiser, if I remember. Or they didn't destroy it. They really beat the hell out of it. And among the people that were on the ship that were killed were the big fucking religious leader of the Minbari. We killed the space pope.
Basically, yeah. I've actually got the wiki for it pulled up, just for reference.
Well, you see, as it turns out, the Minbari, when they meet a new race and they do first contact, their custom is to approach with the gun ports open as a sign of open hands.
Oh, yeah, no, that looks like a threat to me still. Like, that seems stupid. They're stupid.
And so what then happened was the Earth Minbari War, which how long does anyone remember how long it lasted? It was like 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. And then it just stopped.
We could not beat them. They had better technology than us, but also because for some reason we can't just eyeball a firing solution. We have to lock on before we can do anything. We can't lock on to their ships. And that was always described as a
Babylon 5 is stupid.
Yeah, that's why they always. It was really weird, but that was the big reason why they described they were always getting their asses kicked. Not just the better technology and the better ships and weapons. It was they can't lock onto their ships, so
Well, it does an interesting thing, Piper. I mean, yeah, in a way, it means like, oh, the technology is stupid. But if you figure, like, let's say for a second, stealth technology, because it does exist, prevents lock-ons. What you're going to have is you're going to have ace pilots emerge that are really great at being fighter pilots. And there's like now a whole distinction that you'll get for people who are veterans of the Earth Minbari War.
Okay. So
have
they
reputations
still have some
and-
weapons that they could still have stuff they can just plain shoot.
Yeah, and there are dudes in universe like Neff said that were just so fucking good at piloting that they became legends.
Mhm.
Okay, nice.
Two of which are like our main protagonists.
Main protagonists, yeah.
Then I take back the technology stupid.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Like I
you're
said,
right.
it serves a
But
purpose, too.
there's levels to it, basically.
Levels of stupid.
Levels of stupid and levels of competence. That's actually kind of a big theme of this whole show.
Yeah.
There's levels of idiocy that have existed for thousands of years amongst a shit ton of different races, and then certain competent people that come along and unfuck everything.
Right.
This is what happens when you have warning labels on everything, and then stupid people get jobs that they shouldn't have. That's
This is why the Claymore says very clearly this side towards enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, like
Yes.
the show is about recognizing your own stupidity and rectifying it.
Yeah. So as a result, a horrible bloody war that we're constantly getting our shit pushed in. The other members of the galactic community, they don't want to fuck with us. They don't want to fuck with the Minbari. They won't even trade with us to give us help. Or
except for one race.
Except
Who
for
comes
one
in later.
race. Kind of because they'll sell weapons to anybody if you got the credits. And finally, it comes down to they bypassed Mars to go straight at Earth. And so they have what's called the Battle of the Line. It's humanity's kind of last stand. Every ship, even civilian ships they've outfitted with weapons, everything that they have is there in orbit between the Earth and the Moon. They have to stop them there.
That sounds pretty epic.
It's a huge battle. It's a major battle. And then on the eve of victory, Earth gets a transmission from the Minbari that nobody understands. And it's, we surrender.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
nobody understands?
No,
Because why would they?
Oh, okay.
Nobody knows why they did it, and
And
that's
this is-
actually one of the big mysteries of the show is why did this massive empire that clearly though Earth is one thing Xavier left out is Earth is giving everything they can. They're people were resorting to like suicide attacks just to try to slow them down, and like during the show you'll see that there's actually a respect between the two races because of how humans are like, no, fuck you, do not go gentle into that good night. But basically, like we're losing, and then as they're about to win, they just stop and they're like, "Might give up," and then nobody knows why. And then during the show, you find out, but
okay,
it makes no sense. It's like, why would you stop? You're about to kill all of us.
It's just a prank, bro.
Something like that.
Because that's what they were doing. They were gearing up for a complete and total extermination.
Yep.
All because you guys came with your guns out like that wasn't a threat. They're
And
fucking
so-
stupid. That's
Yep.
still so stupid. You don't pull your guns out of your holsters and walk up to somebody,
Piper.
pointing them at them and going, "Hey, what's up?"
In space, it's space. You can always see the sun in space, right? Pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Sun's out, guns out. It's a universal law. Right? You're having fun.
I like this guy.
I like it.
We should hang out more.
Okay, so I think if I leave and come back in, my face might move.
Yeah, your lips are just.
I know.
Okay.
It's really weirding me out.
All right, now the girl's gone. She took her cooties with her. Now we can talk about man shit. So I want to raise. I want a show of hands. Like, who would honestly bang Delenn? I think like, everybody.
No, I'm good, man.
You wouldn't bang Delenn? What about Ivanova?
That bang
Oh,
Ivanova.
yeah.
Yeah, Ivanova, that's a different story.
I was more of a what's her name? The telepath, Lita. I was more of a Lita man.
Oh, yeah, Patricia Tallman's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice too. Talia. You don't want to mess with that.
No.
She was really good in the Night of the Living Dead remake as well.
Yeah, she was with Tony Todd.
Yep.
But yeah, wasn't Talia was the first telepath, right?
No, Lita was the first telepath.
Yeah, Lita was the redhead. Talia's the blonde.
There was something weird happened after the pilot movie was filmed, and they couldn't bring her back for the series right away.
Right.
And JMS is huge on continuity, so the pilot is still in continuity, even though most people don't get to see it.
Yeah, and it's rough, man. Like I rewatched the pilot a couple years ago, and woof.
Oh yeah, you could tell everything that they did, even during the course of the show, they had to do with the shoestring budget, which JMS confirmed on Twitter a couple days ago.
Yeah.
He's like, you have no idea how low the budget of that fucking show was. I believe it. I mean, you go back and look at it.
Favor, though. Like the thing that I loved about Babylon 5, and don't get me wrong, I like Deep Space Nine too. I really did. It was a great show, but it was the two of them were very different aesthetically. They kind of had the same setup, like floating space station, space fighters, aliens interacting and shit. But the grittiness of the Babylon 5 setting, it looks far more military and industrial. It really lent itself to that whole setting. Really
I actually have what they used as oxygen masks in the pilot in the other room. Give me one moment.
Piper, crazy? While you were away, we're not talking about anything. You were just talking about like behind the scenes funny production stuff.
Nice.
The cool thing about at least the design aesthetic of the show is all the Earth stuff was gritty, but then all of the alien stuff, all the ship designs are these bright, colorful, hyper 90s, looks to them. I love that.
The thing
also, your face is working great.
Nailed me. The thing that just hooked me on Babylon 5. The Vorlon, man. I mean, I think it was that way for everybody, right? The first time you saw Vorlon, you were like, I need to watch this show forever. The suit, the cape, the single eye on the helmet. I mean, I love mecha, obviously. I love robot power suits and environmental suits and stuff. I saw that thing and I was just like, this is so much cooler than Star Trek. This show is awesome. So it definitely, all of the different aesthetic elements of it, every race had their particular style and everything. And it merged so well, even though they contrasted so noticeably.
So, I have to ask.
Now I can breathe on alien planets.
Awesome.
According to Babylon 5's pilot.
Micah, can you run over to Yellow Sector for me?
Sure.
Nerds.
Just don't go to Brown 35.
I have to ask. Oh, robots in Babylon 5.
There are actually none.
Right? No.
There are not robots in Babylon 5. Is what you're saying?
No, they don't really mess with that.
The only thing that comes close is the Vorlon's encounter suit, but it's just a suit.
Right.
Oh, well then, shit. Okay, so it gets a win for that.
No robots.
That's
no androids. No data. Yeah.
Well, data I actually liked, except whenever they would crack him open for something, or he would.
That was creepy. You saw his brain.
Yes. Then I could not handle that. But whenever he was just being goofy old data, it was fine.
For those of you that don't remember, Piper has this weird irrational fear of human robots.
It's not human robots; it's robots. It's
I thought it was where they're kind of humanoid.
That can make them creepier, depending. But robots in general, powered by AI specifically, I've noticed are the.
So you're not hanging out on the YouTube page for Boston Dynamics and Tennessee.
Oh my God! Every single time that somebody finds a clip from them, they tag me, and I've been tagged in the same damn clips for years. And it doesn't get any less creepy, and no, they need to be stopped.
If anything, If anything, like Babylon 5 leans almost more towards like the mystic side of things, like magic, but still it's
So it's closer to a
especially
sci-fi fantasy than a sci-fi sci-fi.
Kind of.
It's
Kinda,
like a
yeah.
techie sci-fi.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
they deal a lot
Mural
with
star stuff.
yeah.
Right.
They do a lot of stuff where you're dealing with these ideas that are kind of they seem magical because we don't understand them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Babylon 5, everything was much more frontier style. You had a sense as the viewer that you're seeing something completely new, whereas in something like Star Trek, they've got the science figured out around everything.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was either politics or a submarine battle in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Whereas in Babylon 5, it was more of a general unknown mystery of the unknown with everything that they encountered.
right. And then they brought in what were they? The techno mages, right?
Yeah.
That actually sounds really bitchin'.
Oh, it's pretty good. It's all rooted in science, but they're basically sorcerers.
Nice.
You get weird shit too, like the soul hunters or the soul collectors.
Oh
Right.
god, I love the soul collectors.
See, that's a really logical way to handle magic because, way back in the day, we thought freaking thunderstorms were magic and shit. Like, magic is almost just a way to explain something that you have no other explanation for yet.
One thing that's kind of bizarre about the Minbari is that, but it does kind of make other things make sense, is the soul exists, and they have a way to kind of detect and quantify it.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
But now that we're caught up to the Battle of the Line, let's talk about the Babylon Project. And why we have Babylon 5, but not 1 through 4.
Well, we did.
Because they fucked it up.
Yes.
I can gather that if they're on number 5, they had to have they had to fuck shit up.
Following the Earth Minbari War, the Minbari are like our best friends now.
Oh, besties. Okay.
And it's a lot of people are still very weird about it. There's a lot of feelings that
like some racisms.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, they decide that this can't happen again. Something so simple as just a minor miscommunication damn near caused the eradication of an entire race. And we can't have this. And so the Babylon Project was to create a place in neutral territory where all the races can kind of come together and kind of sort their shit out. Kind of like a Space UN, but
There's some political bullshit in the space station thingy.
Yeah. Because none of the races, they're kind of okay with each other, but they mostly keep to themselves. There's no government that's made up of different races. These 3 species came together and they formed a union, and this is their government. Everyone's kind of
so they would all have the same rules, so they all have their own separate.
There's little alliances here and there.
Yeah, and it's also sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the big thing is you're dealing with the primary species you deal with in Babylon 5 from a political level are just the big players. Not necessarily because there's a ton of smaller races that are out there, and some of them have unions, some of them have little alliances, and they have a presence on the station. But the most that they're gonna get in any sort of diplomatic anything is they get 1 vote for their whole little group.
Yep. You have the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, who are all the small guys. And then you have the big players, which are Earth, the Minbari, the Centauri, the Narn, and the Vorlons.
I am not going to remember that, but thank you for telling me.
There will not be a test later.
Babylon stations 1 through 3 all blowed up.
They all blowed up.
Sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. They blowed their own shit up.
Babylon 4, well, it was there one day and then it wasn't anymore, and nobody knows what happened.
Just vanished.
Which is also an arc in the show later.
Oh, like it's somewhere out there still. Like they just don't know what happened.
Somewhere,
Yeah. It's just not. I'll just say this: it's not an Event Horizon ripoff, even though it would have predated Event Horizon.
Nice.
And
It's always
so-
cool when it doesn't rip off stuff
Right.
that doesn't exist yet. It's always
Yes.
a bonus.
And so that brings us to Babylon 5. And where do we really go from there? Do we talk about the crew or some,
Well,
some more characters?
Sure, and so like the like frame of mind that everyone, especially on like the EarthGov side of things, the frame of mind for everyone regarding Babylon 5 is nobody wants this assignment because everyone's assuming it's just going to get blown up.
Yeah.
I like that. I was
Um,
about to say so everybody there is just kind of waiting to figure out if they're going to disappear or get blown up.
Yeah.
It's a running joke for 2 seasons about the Vegas odds of them failing or blowing up.
Right.
And
All right,
as you
all right,
you
I'm
watch
liking
it, as you watch it, it is like there are complete episodes that really feel like you're watching a car crash about to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and, like,
Eric says, so basically Star Trek. So see, what I had to do was glean what I could, like snooping around the internet, but I didn't care enough to do too much snooping. So so basically I saw screenshots from the set, and this and that was kind of what I was looking at, and I was just like, yeah, this looks like Star Trek. But with a different skin.
Well, that and Star Furies.
I would say it's less tropey than Star Trek. Granted, Star Trek started most of the sci-fi tropes that weren't started by or that in Star Wars, so everything is going to kind of come from that sort of thing. But it's more cynical, I would say, in some ways. I mean, J. Michael Straczynski is the guy who wrote it, so if you've read his Marvel stuff, then you know the guy who's behind it. And on top of that, he learned from Harlan Ellison, who's probably one of the most cynical sci-fi writers you'll ever fucking read. So he doesn't really, like, each of the races don't get narrowed down to a trope like in Star Trek. Because in Star Trek, you have the warrior race and the traders, and each race has like a very specific, the logical ones, stuff like that. It's not really that here. Like each race has similarities to the other. And I think that's by design. Like he wants you to realize that in this particular scenario, yes, diplomacy will fucking work. Stop being assholes. I put that in the most easy to understand terms I can. So,
and I think the way they really exemplified that was with the ambassadors and their assistants, because the assistants were almost always the polar opposite of the ambassadors.
Pretty much.
1 sec.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, especially with Veer.
Oh my God, Veer.
Piper says that
poor
her
Veer.
kid restarted the modem.
Oh no.
Can we get
That'll teach you to have children.
Fucking teenagers, man.
we should introduce Piper to Mr. Morden. So tell me, what do you want?
What do you want?
Oh God.
Yeah, one of the clips I sent in to you, man, was like one of my favorite Morden moments towards the end of the show. Morden's whole arc is so great in terms of like TV sci-fi, especially at that time. And yeah, like there as Michael was saying, there is cynicism, and there's this through line of almost paranoia through the entire series. Yet there are like Monster of the Week. If we're talking about comparing it to like Star Trek or whatever, there are Monster of the Week episodes because that was kind of the bread and butter of TV back then. But this really was one of the first shows that kind of started building on that whole, like, there is an arc to each season, and each arc in each season builds to the overall arc for the entire series.
Yeah. And apparently JMS had the whole thing planned out when he started.
Right.
I love the fact that, and he's talked about this, that he had, they call them escape hatches. I forget what he called them specifically, but it was for every single character in the show. so that if something happened to that actor or that actor decided they wanted to be an asshole,
Right.
and like, I'm holding your show hostage, JMS. You're going to do what I say or your show is gone. You can't do the thing you want to do. He had a way around all of that for everyone.
That's amazing.
He's Batman with the Justice League.
And wasn't it season 3, the whole EarthGov thing? Wasn't it season 3 that like he wrote completely on his own, like all 22 episodes?
Yeah, because he wrote, I think there's 112 episodes, something like that. He wrote over 90 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know that detail.
I looked that up earlier before the show, so yeah,
nice.
I do my research, man.
Also, Mike Murphy, if you got clips, go ahead and cue those up, and then just share browser tab with audio, and then let me know when you'll pull up, and I'll.
Yeah, I sent them to you in the DM because like my computer chugs up whenever I'm streaming.
Okay, I'm gonna try and pull these up without. Tendy can handle it. Continue while I'm pulling these up.
Well, like if you end up going chronologically in what I sent you, like the first one I believe is a clip with Jakar and Molari, and like their like kind of frenemy bromance thing is kind of like the heart of the show for me.
Oh god, it's so good.
And yeah, like the first clip is like I don't know like how well you guys remember like all these episodes, but like basically there's like a terrorist attack and they get stuck in an elevator together for the entire episode. And Jakar is just happy to die because if he does so and Molari dies alongside him, he won't have any repercussions because this is after the enslavement of the race.
Whoa.
Well, they also set up
Piper
like
walking on slavery.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that escalated.
They also set up like everything between those two very early on. I think if it's not in the pilot, it's in one of the earlier episodes where Molari says that he actually had a vision that he and Jakar were going to die with their hands around each other's throats.
Right.
He said it was something weird about the Centauri in that
they can see how they die.
They see how they die. And
Molari is
the Jakar's people were enslaved by the Centauri for many years.
The Centauri or the Romans?
Yeah,
Pretty
you wouldn't
much.
expect it by looking at it because they look fucking stupid. But
It's true.
but despite the fact that they look stupid, they're actually they were actually
The
pretty
Romans.
capable. Yeah,
They
they're
were
pretty
actually the
capable.
Romans.
Um,
well, not gonna. I hate to break it to y'all, but like, the Romans actually were kind of stupid. They
yeah,
they took
Yeah.
all of their culture from elsewhere
this is true.
to try
But
and feel
when
not
you
so
see
stupid.
Malari's head,
Oh,
now you know what I mean.
whoa,
this is Londo and Jakar.
bruh.
Wanda's hair. It's amazing.
Imagine that makeup every morning for 5 years.
Oh yeah. So
Which
several
one?
hours for both of them.
Man,
And all of the Centauri women are bald.
Yes, they are. Wasn't Selma Hayek in an episode at one point?
I think she was. Was she one of Londo's wives, or was he the dancer, or was she the dancer? Yeah.
I want to say she was the dancer because all of his wives looked like Hillary Clinton, if I remember right.
wow.
Except the one, yeah.
Yeah, she was. It was really early on in the show. So if you ever wondered what Salma Hayek looks like bald, there you go.
Trying to find
Yeah,
a
this
good.
is the kind of stuff that I was looking at actually when I looked it up, and so yeah, I remember like. I didn't have any context for the person with that hairdo, but I was like, Jesus,
2.
man.
Well, here's the funny thing: he is surprisingly one of the best written characters in the entire show.
Yeah,
Damn.
he is.
I'm
Like,
trying to find one for the picture of
Well-
the season 1 cast.
I've been rewatching season one before this, and the he gives one of my favorite speeches in the entire show. And oddly enough, it's about love of all things.
Oh,
You would not expect fucking Captain
Cockatiel.
Yeah, like fuck this goofball with the sideways mohawk to be insightful at all. But
Right?
he gives this speech where he talks about, because all marriages in their society are arranged. So like love is sort of kind of a foreign thing in their culture. It exists, they feel the emotion, but they put what they feel they need for their people first. It's tradition. And he tells this story about how his father, he found him, Malari found his father crying in his room at one point, and he's just weeping, and he asks his dad, "Why are you crying?" And he goes, something along the lines of,
I have the clip.
"My shoes are too tight and I've forgotten how to dance."
Yeah,
if you have
the
it, yeah,
shoes.
like just play it. It's beautiful. And again, this is JMS writing, so it shouldn't surprise anyone because the man's amazing. But fuck, dude, it'll especially in context of the whole episode, it will kick you in the nuts. Here we go.
Maybe
Now I have
it'll be loud enough to hear.
I think I have to stop this every 30 seconds, and we have to talk.
I am perfectly fine with that because I love this scene.
Bastard, I've been looking everywhere for you.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, what do you want? To tell you something. Well, you were wrong. What? My cousin and Arya wanted to be together because they love each other. Now, would that have destroyed the great Centauri Republic? We cannot turn our back on tradition. Oh, damn tradition!
All right, pause it because actually let me make a point there. One thing I love about this scene is how hardline Malari has to be, because he knows he's full of shit. But he has to be hardline because he represents his entire race on this station. You'll notice when he said that, and this is part of the thing where JMS is great about detail. He's looking straight forward. He's not looking at anybody else. He's looking straight forward, almost like a fucking robot.
I was going to say, he is just
what
exactly. He's supposed to.
This is the way it has to be because it's the way it's always been.
Exactly.
All right.
Nice.
Because our glorious tradition values wealth and power over love. My shoes are too tight. Excuse me? Something my father said. He was old, very old at the time. I went into his room and he was sitting alone in the dark, crying. So I asked him what was wrong, and he said
that we have to pause and talk about this.
Yes.
I forgot how great the accents and the diction are. The way that he pronounces everything in the accent. I forgot just how wonderful the acting can be on such subtle levels. I mean, these characters are all really well written and fully realized, but the actors that bring them to life, man, I need to go back and rewatch the early seasons. Man.
Oh, it's
Peter
so good.
Jurassic comes off so Shakespearean in this entire show.
Oh yeah.
He's very classically got that classically trained, kind of like what you expect from Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah.
Types of eloquence when he speaks.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of actors on this show that I believe got their most of their background was in stage acting, not in front of a camera.
Andreas Casales was another one.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
my shoes are too tight. But it doesn't matter, because I have forgotten how to dance. I never understood what that meant until now. My shoes are too tight. And I have forgotten how to dance. I don't understand.
You don't want to. It's a shitty situation to be in. So for the audience, for those playing the home game, the context behind this is that Veer, his cousin, has come to the station with a woman that he's in love with. they're still kids. They haven't matured fully. But the thing about it is that, like I mentioned earlier, like the Centauri's, all of their marriages are arranged, and the guy is betrothed to some woman that is butt freaking ugly, and then the chick, she is betrothed to a dude who is like 2 times older than her. So neither of them is a good situation. So they came onto the station to get away from that shit. And where you find where Ambassador Malari finds himself right now is in a situation where he basically doesn't have a choice. He has to send them home because that's what the government declares. And he's so bound by tradition, his shoes are too tight. He can't move. He can't really enjoy the things that these children, basically, for lack of a better term, these kids, these teenagers, let's call them teenagers, what these teenagers are wanting to grow into. He is basically, Froggy kind of puts it pretty well, made to deal with darkness. He may, in that dark part of tradition that is so tight-knit and constricting that it doesn't fucking let you go anywhere. And that is what he is regretting, because it's a desire of his own life that he wishes he had.
Nor should you.
And that's the turning point of the whole episode, because at that point he actually finds a way to help these kids out, and it's really, really cool. That's one thing I love about Babylon 5 is all of the characters, they surprise you in regards to how, like, everybody wears masks in Babylon 5 as a show. Everybody does, because it's all politicians and people who have to deal with politicians. So politics are always being played, and there are masks that people wear. There's the mask of who that person really is, and then there's that public face that they have to wear that is very different from who's beneath it. And I've always loved that about the show.
I was going to say, to expand upon that point, the characters always surprise you. And I was just about, to bring up the Vorlon when you said everyone wears masks. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is. The Vorlon surprise you at the end of the season, the first season. And it's probably one of the coolest reveals. It's yet another reason that the show is so intriguing. Because they do things like this, which just kind of hit you completely sideways. There's a mystery, but you have no idea how deep it goes or how over the top the revelation is going to be. And I don't think Star Trek, ever actually managed to do that to me. Like, there was never a revelation that just was to that degree of what,
I think revelation's a good word for the Vorlons.
On the nose.
Yeah, Star Trek came close with the wormhole situation in DS9.
Right.
But then they put a cap on it and just kind of explained them away as a different type of alien. And you lose the magic of the interactions there.
Yeah.
Whereas Babylon 5 never did that. It never explained it away.
I have to point, I like Medicare, miss several streams and come back and find Piper's now a VTuber. And it just, try not to giggle.
Yeah, things happen, bro. Things happen.
I like how the eyes just move independently of each other. That's my favorite thing, is just to watch Piper's eyes do weird things on screen.
I know, right?
See, I love it.
The weird part is it's like that in real life too.
Right? I was going to say, this is how I am in real life. Yeah, it's because it does not like my glasses, unfortunately.
It doesn't quite track,
Yeah, I don't have contacts, so it just kind of has to deal. And most people, a lot of people are like, that weirds me out, I don't like it. But a lot of people are also like, dude, that is the best thing ever. Don't fix it.
But yeah, the show was so good. Everyone had every race had their own traditions, their own way of doing things. That was just, it's so bizarre to us, but it's just so normal to them. It's like, you guys don't do this? That's fucking weird.
Well, I mean, they also played up the good side of a tradition like that and the bad side too. Nothing was dealt entirely in absolutes. It's a Sith thing. everything had meaning and weight. Like the reason that their tradition helped develop their culture to the way that it was, it brought balance to their relationships. Like, that was an integral part of their society. And yet at the same time, they were making sacrifices, and sacrifices of quite possibly the most important thing in a person's existence. So everything is two-sided. There's a line between good and evil. Always. There's always a line between the two, but it doesn't mean that something can't have elements of both, right?
Yeah.
And I think Babylon 5 really gets that right, especially, like when you bring in some of the darker parts of the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was an episode I watched earlier today that was a good example of kind of that and cultural divides. I'm trying to find the name, but it's the one where you're dealing with the kid who needs that life-saving surgery.
Oh God.
Right.
That episode will kick you in the fucking balls.
I think it's called The Egg.
I think. No, it's called Believers. I just found it.
Oh.
And that one is like I know kind of where JMS took inspiration on like a society within our own society, basically a subculture that has similar rules to it in regards to we don't do surgery. But at the same time, he presents the situation as such a wonderful catch-22 that you can actually see every side of what's going on, as opposed to even in modern writing, where people will just hammer home. It's like, no, you do this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, maybe that's not the best situation. Maybe the situation was fucked before you came into it, and there's nothing you can do here. And you just have to accept that and do what you can.
It.
Yeah,
and experience it and be part of the misery that is the situation. And it's just one of those moments where you realize that, like you said, life is sometimes fucked. You find yourself in the middle of it, and sometimes the most you can do is endure alongside the other people that life is shitty for.
Yeah,
that's commiserate, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Pretty much.
That's the only way to help, is to let it be shitty.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I really feel like JMS really learned from Harlan Ellison, because Harlan Ellison loves shit like that. I mean, like an ending like that is even at the end of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Mm-hmm.
This whole situation's fucked. There's no real way out of this. And even if you try to find a way out of it, the end for you will not be good.
Well, I think he even looked at his own life that way. If you've ever seen the documentary on him, what was that called? Dreams with Sharp Teeth.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
basically,
he just like reflects back on his whole life, and every interview segment basically comes down to like, I know this isn't going to end well.
Servant of God says, so time to lighten things up. Swedish meatballs. That is a weird joke of the show, in that as different as every culture is all across the galaxy, every single one of them somehow invented Swedish meatballs.
This is true.
And they all call it something different. I do want to use that as I think we should gush for another 5 or 6 minutes, because then it'd be 11. And I think at that time we should start actually getting into the reboot.
What could happen with the reboot? Yeah.
What could happen, how it could go wrong, how it could go right, but probably won't. But it could. Probably won't.
I like Stargate. I like Stargate a lot.
I like Stargate.
Not Stargate Atlantis, so fuck that. But
Stargate Atlantis was okay, just not great. I think it had a lot of potential that got squandered when they kind of got lost.
SG-1 was better.
Yes. I was even okay with Stargate Voyager. But
I was gonna say I'm the one guy that likes Stargate Universe.
Oh shoot! I was gonna say all I watched was SG-1, because I feel like by the end of SG-1 they were already running out of ideas, and then there were other shows that were like, "We're taking the whole fact we ran out of ideas and running with it in this direction instead."
Well, they beat the Gould, and then there's like, well now what?
Yeah.
But see, we got another 5 minutes. I think to talk to show the differences in various cultures and how they could be very complex but also really silly. let's watch one of my favorite clips. Green versus purple. Everybody that knows is smiling.
No, man.
If I just find it on the list here. God, I've got so many tabs open.
What if you like green and purple?
You're the Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay. This is green and purple.
As you all know, we're having a bit of a problem here right now.
Can you hear it okay?
Mentioned problem.
Yeah.
You keep trying to beat each other senseless with blunt instruments, banging up against a bulkhead, mugging, jumping, and generally carrying on cranky. And while some of the other species wouldn't mind if you wiped each other out, even they would prefer that you did so quietly. But this station is dedicated to the goal of finding peaceful solutions to our problems. We would like to find one here.
This race is called the Drazi.
They're one of the lesser ones.
Yes, they are, in many ways.
Oh, they're so funny.
Are they legit like jumping each other and beating each other up because of their?
Yes, it's the Bloods and the Crips, man.
Their
Come on.
sash preference.
You remember
my
what we said in the
God.
Crips?
Remember you said earlier how some people are just really fucking stupid?
Yeah, it's like a
Just
cultural
watch.
lane war.
This is great.
Oh
Oh, yes.
Now you can start by helping me to understand the precise nature of the conflict between the two sides that you've set up.
This is so fucking good.
Green. Purple.
No, I understand there are two factions, but what is your point of contention? And where do you disagree with each other?
Purple. Green.
Yes, but who gets to wear the purple sash and who gets to wear the green sash? I mean, is it based on income or caste or rank? Or...
We put green and purple in Great Barrel, equal to numbers of Drazi.
You can already see Ivanova's face. Oh no.
Yeah. Like, why did I take this commission?
I'm not getting paid enough for this shit.
Pretty much, yeah. He says it later.
I think this was season 1 too. So Sinclair bullied her into doing this.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, I'm not doing that shit.
Ivanova, why don't you take care of this?
Oh no.
Then we reach in, we take. Where there was one Drazi people, now there are two. The two fight until there are one.
That's it. I mean, it's totally random, arbitrary. Well, then how do you choose a leader for either side?
One purple and one green carries mark of leadership. He who takes leader cloth is leader. He who takes green is green and follows green leader. He who takes purple is purple and follows purple leader.
So after they finished playing Halo Online,
right?
Oh boy!
You go back. I feel like that one part of Red versus Blue is partially inspired by this with the online gamers. Like we must protect this house.
Let's protect this house.
I remember the one part where they were flat out like, because they're the blue guys. That's they're not the red guys. They're the blue guys.
Why is the flag even important? Well, it's blue. We're blue. It's just important, okay?
Right? I like early Red versus Blue, and then I kind of tapped out of Rooster Teeth. But
yeah,
yeah, along with most of the internet.
Yeah.
Now let's do some problem solving.
In other words, would you two please step forward for a minute, please?
Let's do an experiment. Now, hold on.
Knowing how impulsive Ivanova is.
This guy back here, watch him.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're trying to tell me is that if I take this purple sash off of him and put it onto him, is this one thing alone enough to
Oh no, that's great.
Fucking Trumpy, you're hilarious.
That dude, he jumps from the back row.
Right, yeah, dude.
He fucking launches himself. It's great.
Yeah.
He's like, you stupid bitch! You put that on. You fucking going down, SA? Like, it really is
Brilliant
social
social commentary.
Ah!
I was able to make that today.
Servant says it was season 2. So Sheridan bullied her into it, which makes it even better because she used to work under Sheridan.
Oh my
Piper's,
god.
Piper's thinking under.
Oh my god. It's wonderful. I love the show.
That kind of sums up Babylon 5 in its entirety.
Okay, I like that. If there's a lot of funny, I can definitely.
Oh, there's so much.
There's so much. That whole elevator scene.
And it's brilliant because they balance it. You know, like you had that really heavy, my shoes are too tight, but it doesn't matter, I've forgotten how to dance. A very poetic, evocative moment, juxtaposed by the shit you just saw. And it's brilliant storytelling. And that's why, like, when you look at the seasons overall, I mean, there are some that are definitely better than others, but as a series, it's got just elements that other sci-fi shows don't. And it's not quite as appreciated as I think it could be with the right crowd of people watching it. But you know, you have to watch it with people, right?
All right. Okay, so we are going to pull up this article from space.com because I typed into Google Babylon 5 reboot and this was at the top of the list. So I just did this one.
Sounds like a very super duper reputable source.
I'm told they're very neato torpedo. Babylon 5 reboot in development with original series J. Michael Straczynski at the helm. Hold on a minute. I'm going to be doing scrolling, so I have to... Okay. Despite issues in the past with Warner Brothers, the studio will produce the new show.
Which is surprising.
Because they were, when he tried to do Lost Tales, which would have just been the start of potentially a new season of films, they were really shitty with him. They gave him that tiny ass budget, but he also didn't produce a great story for it. I'm disappointed that Legend of the Rangers didn't take off. Well, a reboot of the 90s sci-fi epic, Babylon 5, is in development at the CW. Oh, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
well.
That's strike one.
Yeah, that's the first worry.
Creator of the original show, J. Michael Straczynski, will write the project and act as executive producer under his Studio JMS banner. Warner Brothers Television, which produced the original series, will produce the new show. Needless to say, this news has been nothing less than a seismic event in the sci-fi social media circles. Everyone's fucking scared.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I'm very short on faith right now. Like, people say, have faith. I'm like, nah. I'm very, very short on faith.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to have like a CW budget, and that's going to suck.
Yeah.
because the struggle of the original was the budget was so bad.
Now
They
it's
did
going to be
so
worse.
well with a limited
It's gonna
budget.
be worse.
You know?
Yeah. Their
it wouldn't
budget's going
fly
to
today.
be $5 and a gum wrapper. That's
Right. Like, what did Gary from Neurotic say? Like, lots of feelings in hallways with this one coming at you.
yeah, damn it.
And then Babylon 5 crosses over with Legends of Tomorrow.
Right.
Oh God.
No.
No.
Oh,
So I was gonna say
no.
that, like,
The gravity on the station has gone down. We need the Flash. The Flash can run fast enough to get the station turning again.
Don't give them ideas, man.
Yeah, please. Because they're not going to pay you for them anyway.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, the Flash wasn't terrible, right? Once upon a time, Arrow wasn't terrible.
Right? I was into it in the beginning.
Me too. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought
I was
like,
into
they
all
were
that
both
stuff.
very interesting shows. Like, and for more than 1 or 2 seasons, I think it was after season 3 of Flash that I just stopped caring. I was into Arrow for a little bit more, but that's the thing. Like, sometimes these shows can start off and have a good showing. The problem with the CW is that it doesn't know when to end. It doesn't know how to stop. and it torpedoes its own IP by just grinding it into the ground to try and make it make money. And eventually people just stop watching altogether because they have that terrible taste in their mouth. They don't remember it fondly.
I mean, I guess one of the main issues is just how much creative control are they going to let Straczynski have? Because if he says to end the show and it ends, then maybe there won't be an issue. But at what point do they say, no, we're going to milk this thing until like it's, dead and buried?
Yeah, that's always the big struggle, because I mean JMS, he like his entire career has been clashing with the higher power. He clashed with it the first time around with Warner Brothers when he went to Marvel Comics. He got made to do One More Day by Quesada, who's a fucking asshole.
I got divorced, so Spider-Man shouldn't be married either.
Yeah. Quesada, I'm glad Gwen Stacy's dead. Fuck off. But and so is everybody else. They just won't say it out loud. But and then they gave him Thor as an apology, and then they're just like, yeah, now you're off the book. Like that's his whole career. So the wonder is it really going to be any different just now that he's older and is more respected than he was at the time?
The biggest problem he had running the original series was that the next season would not be greenlit until like near the end of the first season of the season. Wow. While it's broadcasting.
Yep.
So he would be in the middle of a storyline and not know if he gets to come back and finish it.
Right.
That sucks. I hate when you do it like that.
This actually hurt the fourth season because they basically had it written into the contract that, how you have the deadline where they have to tell you if they're renewing by this time?
Yeah.
The deadline was the night before the premiere of the season finale.
Wow.
So and they waited.
Basically like, congratulations, you can come into work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not. Wow.
He didn't know if he was getting another season, so he wrapped up the storyline in season 4.
Yeah, and basically, like, the last episode of season 4 was kind of a last-minute addition, like, tacked on that kind of, like, serves as an epilogue of, like, and then this happened, and then this, and this is how it would have ended.
Yeah.
Let's see. In the original series, Babylon 5 is a giant 5-mile long. That's 8 kilometers for you European people. Space station, you metric heretics. Space station located in neutral space next to a strategically vital wormhole-style jump gate. They're all over the place. Like, they're really trying to link it to DS9 here, but the jump gate, every system has a jump gate.
Yeah.
Serves as a port of call for travelers, smugglers, corporate explorers, and alien diplomats at a time of uneasy peace and constant threat of war. The first commander, Jeffrey Sinclair, he was a little stiff at first, but I think he
gets better as the first season goes on.
Yeah, Sinclair grows on you, and by the time you get to season 3 with all that stuff, I really liked him.
Yeah. I preferred Sheridan personally, but I think it's easy to prefer Sheridan because he's Tron.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bruce Boxleitner. Of course he's the better pick.
See, he discovers his ultimate destiny is vital in a jigsaw puzzle of galactic history. His replacement, Captain John Sheridan, also ends up playing an essential role in the survival of life in the galaxy as chaos gradually descends and several alien species go to war with each other, putting Sheridan and the rest of Space Station crew in the line of fire. That's the last best hope for survival of the human race.
Speaking of ripoffs, or at least name ripoffs, is that one notable thing about Sheridan there is that his nickname, Star Wars, ended up ripping off for The Force Unleashed. Star Killer.
Well, actually, JMS ripped it off because, remember, Luke's original name was going to be Luke Starkiller.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's right.
Babylon 5 first aired in February 93, so I think I was like 7? Or 6. I might have been 6 years old. I don't remember. Over the course of 5.5 years, it changed television sci-fi forever. We're not going to mince words here. The series is brilliant. You will laugh. You'll definitely cry. You'll kiss $10 goodbye, and will absolutely be forever enlightened as you follow a mind-blowing story that unfolds across time and space. Incredible cast delivered phenomenal performances. I'm just going to go over the cast list here. It is extremely difficult to imagine anyone other than Andreas Katsulas playing Jakar or Stephen First playing Veer.
Mm-hmm.
Did Stephen First die?
No, he's one of the only ones still alive.
Yeah.
Him and Boxleitner.
And Claudia.
Yeah, Claudia too. But she's not on good terms with Straczynski, right?
I'm not sure. I know I followed her on Facebook back when I was on the Book of Faces, and
I'm sure at this point they've probably made amends. But like, I know that's the whole reason she wasn't in season 5. They had like a really bad falling out.
I thought it was also because the season renewal thing, and obviously, do you sit there and you wait because maybe you'll get to come back and do Babylon 5 another year, or do you go do something else because you don't know?
Sure.
I don't know. Shit, also fun. Babylon 5 is one of the best science fiction shows ever written for television. Happily sits atop the throne in the Sci-Fi Hall of Fame, along with Ron D. Moore's Battlestar Galactica, debatable, The Expanse, and Star Trek: The Original Series. The timing of this.
I would not consider, because that's the remake, if I remember right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, the remake shits the bed for the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
So I don't know if I'd call it a classic.
It's so good until the end because they don't know how to end shit.
Yep.
But
I mean,
is that for Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original shit the bed during Galactica 1980.
The original had little robot bears.
Wow.
Well,
like that one wasn't like a serious sci-fi show. That was a fun sci-fi romp. It was about it didn't really take itself seriously, I don't think. But the thing I like about Babylon 5 is that it kind of took that feeling of like starfighters, you get in Battlestar Galactica, and it merged it with Deep Space Nine. It had like a really cool feel that way. Is it heresy to say I don't think Star Trek the original series was one of the best sci-fi series of all time?
It was a great Western.
Oh no!
Yeah,
What I was
great
going to say,
Western.
what it has going for it is the fact that it was the first sci-fi series to really make it when everything was westerns.
TNG was better.
Oh yeah, I like it better.
And I mean, like, The Expanse was great early on, but we're not done with that, and it fell apart. So it's like we're looking at all these sci-fi shows, and none of them really wind up doing well at the end.
I
Firefly.
disagree. I've really enjoyed Amazon Prime's handling of The Expanse.
Yeah, I've heard, like, I'm still at the end of season 3 of The Expanse. I have to catch up to the Amazon stuff.
I haven't finished it.
I've heard so much mixed stuff. I'm so nervous going into those 2 seasons.
I'm just not going to do it. I gave up. I'm like, all right, cool. I got 3 cool seasons out of it. There were Martian, genetic engineered alien things. Dude got eaten by Venus, and I'm all good. I had a good time on the show. This was a fucking blast. I don't need to know how it ends.
Servant of God, I missed this earlier. Sorry about that. $2 says, why are they all on cocaine at Warner? And
Cocainum.
He said the secret word.
Uh-oh.
Cocainum.
Stay off the white drugs, kids.
Yes. But yes, they are. I mean, how do you expect most of the DCEU?
I was about to say, have you seen Batman Samurai or Ninja? Batman Ninja? Holy shit. There were so many drugs involved in the creation of that.
So many drugs.
Funny.
All the drugs.
All of the drugs were involved in the creation of that.
I remember I was on the episode right before we were going to watch that. I love that all the way up till now that still affected you so much.
Right.
So apparently Straczynski was trying to throw his hat in the ring to be the newest showrunner for Doctor Who a couple months ago.
Right,
Let's
yeah.
see. And then he tweeted out that Say, so disappointing. And WBS final say, if we did a Kickstarter to finance, do you think they would agree? Try to get another season of B5? Won't work. They literally told my agent, we have no plans, no intentions of letting anything else be done in terms of television with Babylon 5. And a Kickstarter wouldn't pay for even a fraction of a season. That won't change for years when those execs are dead and gone. And that was a couple years ago.
Wow.
Prior to this, he made it clear on Twitter that current television rights holders, Warner Brothers, had no intention of either doing anything with the license themselves or letting anyone else do anything with it. While these are connected in some way to today's announcement is as yet unknown. Now, I think that's probably the same group that, because they did that big fucking executive shuffle at Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
And that's why we got the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
The executives that he's probably talking about are the ones that got the Suicide Squad turned into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Released the theatrical cut, ordered the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman, and ordered the Joss Whedoning of Justice League because they knew better.
I'm with Perth. I just written off that like the Doctor Who series is over. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it did.
But on social media, stars from the original show reacted to today's announcement with Claudia Christian, for example, right on Facebook. I know some of you saw the announcement that WB is doing a B5 reboot series, and I know you have a lot of questions for me, like, are you playing Ivanova? Are there going to be telepaths? What year is this taking place in? Well, I know nothing. Zip. Nada. Joe's kept us in the loop from day one on this because he wants us involved with the show, but we have no idea at this time what's in the script or what the story is. Only Joe knows that for now, so you should go bug him about it. He won't tell you, but the results should be amusing.
This is true. He won't tell you. There's dozens of quote tweets on JMS's timeline where he's like, nope, not telling you.
This tells me that she's probably still mad if there wasn't indeed a falling out. Only Joe knows. Go bug him. He won't tell you, but it'll be funny.
All right.
And back in February 21, it was announced the entire B5 series was to receive a long overdue remaster. I didn't hear about that. Are they like
Yeah, me neither. I've been waiting on that for like a decade.
Basically, it's not really a remaster because all the episodes are on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the original DVD release of Babylon 5 was atrocious.
Yeah.
Because they forced the letterbox when it was still like all the files were in 4.3. And it looked like dog shit.
Which again is funny because it was filmed in 16:9.
Mm-hmm. So, but if you watch it on HBO Max or you buy the episodes off of Amazon or iTunes, the quality is very good.
Okay.
Oh. What?
We have Reboot
Mike Murphy was agreed the whole.
Am I better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
A
Still
long
an echo,
time. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it because it was really fucking old. A long time ago, I think, late aughts, early teens. Somebody asked JMS about going back and reimagining B5 because Battlestar was still running, and he said that he wouldn't do it because he told the story he wanted to tell. But if for some reason he did ever do it, he would tell a completely different story.
Right. I kind of remember that.
Well, he just addressed the same thing on Twitter. Let me read the thread real quick.
Oh, cool. Do you have a thread?
Yes, I have it right in front of me. I don't have my screen shared, so because it's on a different computer. So I'm just gonna read it, and if you don't believe me, go on JMS's Twitter. It's at Straczynski. But he says the following. The network understands the uniqueness of Babylon 5 is giving me a great deal of latitude with the storytelling. As noted in the announcement, this is a reboot for the ground up rather than a continuation for several reasons. Heraclitus wrote, "You cannot step in the same river twice, for the river has changed, and you have changed. In the years since Babylon 5, I've done a ton of other TV shows and movies. Odd he didn't mention comics. Adding in an equal number. I really think he hates Marvel that much at this point. But In the years since Babylon 5, I've done a blah, 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 adding an equal number of tools to my toolbox, all of which I can bring to bear on one singular question. If I were creating Babylon 5 today for the first time, knowing what I know now as a writer, what would it look like? Now, when I first read that sentence, I'm like, oh God, please do not say, do I need to modernize this? And he doesn't as he goes on. He says,
thank goodness.
yeah, here's what he says. He goes, how would I use all the storytelling tools and technological resources available in 2021 that were not on hand then? So he's talking about development. He's not talking about like trying to modernize it or something like that. Now this is one that worried me again. He said, how can it be used to reflect the world in which we live?
Oh no.
Yeah. And the questions we are asking and confronting every day.
That's red flag too.
Yeah. So fans regularly point out how prescient the show was and is of our current world. It would be fun to take a shot at looking further down the road. So we will not be retelling the same story in the same way. Yeah, he keeps going. Because of what Heraclitus said about the river, there'd be no fun and no surprises. Better to go the way of Westworld or Battlestar Galactica, where you take the original elements that are evergreens and put them in a blender with a ton of new challenging ideas to create something fresh yet familiar. Yeah, this is this is where it gets worrying. To those asking, why not just do a continuation for a network series like this? Can't be done because over half the cast are stubbornly on the other side of the rim. And then he goes on like, how do you continue telling those characters' stories? And then he talks about like the modern technology and shit like that he plans on using. So like updated CG that doesn't look like something out of a StarCraft game or out of the first StarCraft. And
that's what I was figuring, updated effects, but not if not if he's doing it with the CW.
It looks like he's wanting to do what he did with the original, though. In some ways, he says the concept of a 5-year arc with pre-planned beginning, middle, and end. So he wants to format it at the same. Yeah, it's going to have the same structure. But what worries me whenever he says shit like that, it makes me think to myself, are we going into this with me? Once this is done and I see the first few episodes, am I going to wonder if Sense8, the problem with Sense8 wasn't the fucking Wachowskis, it was you?
Right.
Because I blame the Wachowskis for Sense8 because they shoehorned a bunch of transgender shit into it. And then it was just dumb. It's like you've got a guy who wrote some of the most compelling things about psychics and telepaths in fiction with J. Michael Straczynski, and you're fucking it up. What are you doing? But when he says stuff like that, I think to myself, like, when you approached this all those years ago, you took universal ideas that are worries in regards to things that we will probably deal with as long as there is sentient life on Earth and across the galaxy. You know, there is prejudice. There are all these things, these ancient things that we just can't fucking get over, and that we need to get over if we're going to move forward as a race. Well, now people within Hollywood are actually saying, no, you shouldn't get over those things. You should constantly remind that Hollywood has become
You should
Jakar.
pick at that wound all the damn time. Keep it bleeding.
Yeah, exactly. Which, oddly enough, is the shit that Babylon 5 was in story is created to stop.
Yeah.
So the question is, what story are you going to tell? Are you
I was
actually
gonna
going
say,
to have the
is
balls?
the reboot gonna be picking the scab, or is the reboot gonna be about stitching the wound?
Exactly. Are you going to have the balls to say we have to move forward past this, or are you?
There's an answer.
Yeah, it's like, or are you going to give Jakar a giant orange wig?
Right.
No. What I think we're gonna happen is we're gonna have Jakar Floyd and Narn Lives Matter.
Oh God!
Oh no!
You're asking an important question, and you're right. In the original, he did explore cultural commentary and significant social themes, stuff like prejudice. It was like cooked into actually the setting, but then in the individual characters and their development, you explored the same thing. I mean, like that funny scene with purple versus green. That's cultural commentary.
Yeah,
you know, that's brilliant satire. Even stuff about like tradition and letting go of the old ways that have constrained us, but potentially sacrificing our way of life. That's cultural commentary. So it's present, but it's artfully done because it's subtext. You're seeing that relevant theme that we see in ourselves that provokes the discussion, but you're seeing the feeling in the characters. You're not seeing the actual thing. They're not talking directly about, you know, an orange wig and Narn Lives Matter. They're not doing that because that would be taking the subtext. That'd be taking the subtext and making it the text.
Yeah.
And that's the problem right now. You want an answer as to whether or not he's going to go the picking the scab route, like Piper said, or if he's going to go the more subtle healing route that I guess like unifying people that that Babylon 5 originally sought to do. What's he like on Twitter?
I actually don't follow him. I don't follow a lot of celebrities on Twitter.
So if he's sitting there like this Babylon 5 is going to be more inclusive, I'm like,
through his Twitter, dig through his Facebook, find out what he himself professes to believe, and there's your fucking answer.
And you know, I hate boiling it down to this too, but I also wonder if part of the magic that's not going to be there is Harlan Ellison's guiding hand, because Harlan wasn't a producer on the show, but he basically sat in the room for most of the production and just kind of guided certain story beats and like, you know, gave his 2 cents to Straczynski throughout the entire show. Like that's why he had that credit throughout the entire series.
It's important to have a sounding board.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that Straczynski says is that he wishes Harlan was here. So it's, I don't think he's necessarily going to forget it. I just worry about kind of what we talked about before the show started is how much Straczynski's a weird one because he does give a shit about fan input. He will listen. To degrees. He knows it's like, here's the line where creative freedom is on one hand, and then there's creation by committee. And he does his best not to go past this line because he knows how bad it can fuck something up.
Yeah.
So the question is whether or not the pressure on that other side of the line, where you have people like the movie Bobs of the world, or all of the woke white women who are ruining society. You know, like you have all of them they put a lasso around him and try to pull him across.
Yeah.
To where
they're in charge.
Suddenly Babylon 5 is not his anymore, it's ours. Which as a creator, my response to that is this.
Well, see, that's what I was going to also say is the fact that it's under Warner and it's under CW, and their shit's changed from, you know, how they ran things back then and what they're trying to target audience since back then. How much is going to be them going, yeah, that's great and all, but we need more talk about this.
I think Warner, because of the massive debt that AT&T is in as they own Warner, I think if they're seriously considering bringing back Babylon 5, they're really counting on that install base.
You would think
a great first season. That's all they need.
That's all they need. I think they're kind of they've seen what happened with Star Wars. They've seen what happened with Star Trek, and they've seen what's happened thus far. Is like, hey, maybe antagonizing people and just being really shitty to the install base who would have shown up as long as you didn't piss them off. Even if it's different and, you know, they don't like some of the things you do, as long as you don't just fucking be shitty about it, they might give it a chance and maybe it will grow on them. I didn't like, you know, the new Battlestar when it started. There were some things that grew on me, but of course when they brought in Kane and
grew on me.
Yeah.
Or made me grow. I don't know which one.
Oh yeah.
Did you want a fracker? Did you want a fracker really good?
Who didn't?
I was praying that they weren't banning fracking in the future. Yeah. No, I mean that honestly, I thought that was a great casting choice. And at first I was dubious about it because when I watched the original Battlestar, I was very much a Starbuck fan. You know, I was a fanboy. I was a little kid. And then suddenly that wasn't my Starbuck. But then I was like, no, I'm okay with the Starbuck. I like this Starbuck. This Starbuck's awesome. She's got boobs.
Yeah, that's what my dad said. So I guess he liked Battlestar Galactica a lot, which sucks because he was trying to. Last time we were chatting on the phone, he was trying to chat with me about it, and I was like, "You never watched it when I was around, so like, when I'm kid, I'm watching what y'all are watching. Damn it, you didn't watch that."
It was great, and then those last 2 seasons, just they were fucking terrible. And they murdered that show.
Yeah, he told me he was just now catching up. Like he was just now getting into the reboot or remake or whatever of Battlestar Galactica, and he said that that he was also like about changing Starbuck, but he said that instead of trying to make it a different character that was all about I'm a chick now, it was just a chick that was Starbuck, that it was just Starbuck with boobs.
Yeah, yeah. Starbuck was a
Instead of just-
womanizer. He smoked cigars. He drank and he gambled. Katie Sackhoff, fucked a bunch of dudes in the show and
drank and gambled.
When we
and
meet
gambled and
her,
smoked cigars.
Right,
Yeah,
always had a
when
cigar.
we meet her, she's fucking sprawled out on the floor with a fucking whiskey bottle. Like I was like, all right, but because when I was little, I didn't get it. I was there for the Robo Bears and the Starfighters. Like my knowledge of Battlestar was a pre-pubescent adolescent, kids Battlestar. This was the mature version of Battlestar, and so like it was an entirely different experience, but they're both beloved.
I said it grew on me, but the thing that really turned me off was when they brought in Kane and the Pegasus, because it's like, really, you're gonna do Kane that way? And then of course the clip that I don't have it, but I've shared it before. You guys remember Battlestar Galactica Razor?
No.
It was a made-for-TV movie that here's what the Pegasus was doing while seasons 1 and 2 were going, and it had that TV bumper. It was like, it has been revealed, Kane and this other character were lovers. Brought to you by Quiznos.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
I
this
remember you saying
stops.
that.
Oh my
I
god.
talk about this.
I will
Back on
find it later.
Babylon.
But back on Babylon. The thing that concerns me is obviously, we're gonna get, President Clark is it was very sad, very tragic, very big tragedy. What happened to President Santiago? But we're gonna make Earth great again, and we're gonna build this big, beautiful wall around the jump gate. We're gonna make the Minbari pay for it.
Yeah, that will be awesome. Because like other stuff, it's like you could make Michael Garibaldi Michaela Garibaldi in a remake. I wouldn't really care as long as she's a good actress. Or like you could make Sheridan a chick. As long as she's a badass, people will probably still watch it.
What could they do to Karsh?
To Kosh?
Yeah. Nothing. We're safe. Vorlons are good.
You don't understand Kosh because Kosh technically has no gender, is a trans icon.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Easy
honestly,
points.
If Kosh is a trans icon, I'm okay with that. Kosh was the fucking man. All right, like I'm okay with that. Sure.
He was the them. Thank you very
I
much.
was about to
You're
say
right.
the fucking man.
You're right. You're right then.
You have
Sure.
to respect
Well, I mean,
his,
you never
his-
know
its
what
pronouns.
the aliens' pronouns are. You have to ask, right?
When we look at when we look at past examples of other sci-fi that we like to pick on because it's straight away from the original source material or bastardized it, you find that it was basically the studios handing the property over to other people who weren't as invested in it as the original show creators.
True.
Star
There's the ones
Trek
that just don't care.
Star Trek ran off the rails after Gene Roddenberry was out of the picture. It started to taper off. All of the stuff in Star Wars we hate. We hate because of Disney, not because of George Lucas necessarily. And what we have here, we have a little bit of hope because this is J. Michael Straczynski's baby, and he's got show running and executive producing, and he's in charge of his own show. So that does give us a little bit of hope. It's not being handed over to a bunch of millennials to inject themselves into.
Frogged you with a little bit of a joke there. Wait, did you mean Kosh or Kosh?
I don't get it.
Kosh was great, but Kosh, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of when they switched Kosh with Kosh.
I mean, when Kosh, they literally had a coming out party, right?
Oh,
Like,
kind of,
literally.
yeah, in front of
Yeah.
everyone, and
In
everyone
front
was
of everyone,
very
right.
Everyone was
Stunning
very
and
happy
brave.
with it.
It was stunning and brave.
It was very stunning and brave, except for Londo. Londo wasn't happy because Londo didn't get to see the party.
Right, Londo saw nothing. Right.
Yep. That's a little bit of a joke about the Vorlons, because Kosh is the ambassador for the Vorlons, but if you ask any Vorlon their name, they will always say Kosh.
Yeah, they're interesting. Let's not give too much away on the
Yeah.
Vorlons.
If
The Vorlons are
yeah,
interesting.
I suggest you watch it just for the Vorlons, Piper.
Oh
Yeah.
Just watch season 1. You're
Oh
good.
man, somebody
You
asked me
might
a
want to
Vorlon.
keep watching. Go ahead, just watch season 1, man.
I
Don't miss out.
gotta find a way to watch it where I don't have to give people money.
It's only 22 episodes, man.
Yar.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm not going to encourage such things, but
Wink, wink. Oh,
You
okay,
can't wink.
cool. When I'm trying to do it on purpose.
Damn eyes.
What the hell?
There you go. Almost.
I'm trying. There we go. That's some shit. That is some bullshit. What the hell?
But
But the funny thing about it, though, is, especially going back and looking at it, I worry that it's going to happen. What's going to happen to this is what happened to one of the video game series that inspired in Mass Effect, because
Right.
I remember when I first played the first game with my significant other at the time. She's like, "Does this kind of feel like Star Wars to you?" I'm like, "No, this feels like an aggressive Babylon 5." Because that's what it is. It's got the same sort of dynamics as Babylon 5, but you're going out and killing shit instead of sitting home and being diplomatic. But Mass Effect, as time went on, completely lost its sense of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when BioWare tried to bring back people who worked on the original game to try to save Andromeda, it still was one of the worst games you'll ever play. And
Yeah.
I worry about the same thing happening here. It's like we're doing Babylon 5, and we've got Straczynski and we got this, but the rest of the ship is fucked because of modern politics, because of modern pressures from people who pretend to be fans of these things, so on and so forth.
Right.
So-
Andromeda is exactly where I thought you were going with that. Because right now I'm playing through that remastered set of like the trilogy of the original games. And playing through it and then going back and trying to remember Andromeda for however long I played it, it's so night and day. It's just Andromeda is like the perfect example of like how to kill a franchise. And yeah, you're right. I do worry about them making the same socio-political mistakes with Babylon 5. And on top of that, being that it's CW, I am worried about the budget stuff, because you look at like let's just say like the first season of Arrow, it's a pretty well done urban superhero show, but by like season 4 or 5, again, it's just people in hallways.
Off the rails.
Yeah.
Off the rails. Piper, did you ever play Andromeda?
No, because it looked like ass.
Oh,
I was gonna say your avatar is far more expressive than the main character. In like every way.
My face is tired from just everything.
Right. I'm just video games are expensive, so if I'm
That-
going to
that's
invest in
okay.
one, it needs to not look like ass.
You would have gotten more fun out of enjoying it ironically before they patched all of the things out of it that people were enjoying, like models kind of floating out of frame.
Oh yeah, I'm so there for the glitches. That's like my favorite part of games, is looking up all the glitches that people come across and laugh about them. So I'm kind of bummed that they that Cyberpunk 2077 got so fixed before I managed to go and break it.
One thing to give Andromeda, and I think this is very important, is I love any game that when you customize your character, that's how they look in all the cutscenes.
Right.
Yeah,
because that was my favorite part of Dead Rising 2, is making the character look as gay and terrible as possible. It's ridiculous.
So you were cosplaying as Cab then?
Yeah. So my play through of Dead Rising 2 aside, when Super Best Friends did Andromeda, and they just made him look ridiculous with bright neon hair and lipstick, and just like made him look ridiculous. And now you have these very serious moments that you can't take seriously, because not only does his face not work, His face looks just. What happened? Do you remember the makeup gun from The Simpsons?
Yes.
It's always set to whore. That's what it looked like. He just took a blast from the makeup gun.
But yeah, that's the weird worry, and that's the funny thing about it is I feel like I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but I ended up making a video about it later. It's this idea that it was about Kevin Smith and the Masters of the Universe thing. I think Kevin Smith is a pretty good writer. I think, classically speaking, up until Cop Out, but he knows how to write a good story.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you've got a good writer, and when they fuck up, especially in trying to give into modern pressure of having a modern story, where they take certain tropes and ideas that work, going all the way back to Joseph Campbell, and they throw them out the window just because the modern day says you shouldn't do them. I wonder if there is a point where, and what JMS is going to pick. Are you going to choose to still be the great writer we know, where he's written comic books, television, all this great shit, and he knows how to write a great story, and is he going to choose to continue to be that good, or is he going to choose to be modern, throw all those things away that he knows works, and go from there? Because the thing that is weird about that tweet thread is that most of it comes across like he's going to choose to still be a great writer. But those two little phrases that he puts in there make you think he's not going to. And I don't like that feeling it's giving me in the pit of my stomach.
Right.
You know, it's a coin toss on whether or not this remake is going to be good.
Yeah. Those plus the CW part are
Right.
kind of the red flags. So it really is. I think it's dependent a lot. It's going to depend a lot on him and how much say he's going to get too.
Yeah.
Right.
We've
and no, I was just gonna say, and ultimately, like I said this on Twitter when I found out about the reboot. Like, I think past all the like ideological stuff and past like the network and past all that stuff, I think my biggest problem is I hate this trend where everything has to be a prequel or a reboot. Like it's this thing where people are just it comes off like they're scared to say what happens next. Like, I don't understand why this show can't just be Babylon 6. And you don't have to do the Force Awakens thing. You don't have to like directly reference the last show. Like, you can let it be its own thing. You can have it be like 100, 200 years in the future and just go from there. I like that really irritates me about modern sci-fi.
Yeah.
I could see that. I mean, ultimately, that is one of those weird things that you just kind of have to ask yourself is like, where do we really want to go with these things? Do we really like? I could kind of understand why he wants it to be remade, because he had all this shit that it's like you go back, but yeah, not even all politics aside, yeah, like I also wonder if like he's gonna make the Greedo mistake.
McClunky.
What I'm really hoping for, because we've sat there and we've talked about how this is going to go wrong. I think we should at least let's flip that. How could this go right? But I do want to comment on this because I have this clip and I want to show it, and
Okay.
I've been waiting for this. And I am scared that because of the way we treat culture now, or at least the way it's accepted to, you're only allowed to talk about culture in these ways, that they're going to rush over the fact that the truth is not all cultures are created equal in a sense. And because of the limitations of culture, your beliefs, you can get exploited. Such as the time that Ivanova had to have sex with an alien. Now, the context of this is that this alien race are very like high and mighty about themselves, and it's everything is like power game, power dynamics. You know, I am the pure breed. I have this going on for me that makes me better than you. They have a belief where every time you do a big deal, the deal is not official until the two people that negotiated have sex. I don't know if there is a explicit thing about, you know, if two dudes, you know, negotiate the gender, then they got to go at it. But oh shit! I just gave fuel. To the.
Yeah, you're writing scripts for them, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So Ivanova gets stuck where she has to have sex with this dude to seal this trade agreement, and she like, I don't want to have sex with this dude, and Sheridan basically tells her, figure it out, which is what he told her, you know, with the Drazi, figure it out. And somebody gave her the brilliant idea that this race can't tell one Earthling, you know, one Terran apart from another, one human apart from another. And as a result, they probably don't know how humans do it. And so that gets the noggin jogging. And thus we have, please send all the youngsters out of the room because we're about to show Ivanova having sex with an alien, Earth style.
Wink.
I thought it over. I'm ready. I set aside as much time as required to have sex as is done by your species. Since if we were to do it human style, it would probably be too much for you.
Are you implying that Lemati's sex is inferior?
Oh, no.
And just like that, she got him.
Oh shit!
Oh.
So there's some things about like dudes that translate across all species or whatever races.
Oh, it gets better.
She should tell him his pee-pee's small.
Not at all. No, not as such. I mean, it just wouldn't be fair to ask you to do it our way on such short notice. You know, the pressure to perform.
Enough. To conclude our deal, we will have sex human style.
Human style.
You sure? You do know what this entails.
Of course. Ignorance is an inferior trait.
That's what I thought.
So, hey, Gail Simone, if you're watching or if somebody clips this for you, this is how
It's going to
women are
have all
actually
the
written.
issues in it.
What?
It's going to have all the modern issues in it.
You think so?
In his Twitter threads, you got to go down like really fucking far.
Oh no!
When people start talking about like what type of politics are going to be involved in the show, and they're just like, "Hey, just keep politics out of it. We would just love a show."
No.
He starts what?
You can't have politics outside of B5, but
Well, so what he says
I
is,
know what they mean.
he says, if you don't talk about politics and you have a platform like B5 where you have a television show and it has if you don't talk about politics, it's just as political about talking about politics. So why not address the politics directly and therefore be political? I'll read you the direct quote. Though again, if you're asking, if you're not speaking from your core beliefs, it's just as political as not addressing them because you're doing so to avoid conflict and thus reinforce someone else's beliefs. If you're not writing what you believe to be true, why are you writing at all? Then he calls someone a fascist.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah,
yep, there it is.
There it is. Because, you know, right now we're kind of seeing the takeover of Earth Dome and Earth Alliance. We're seeing that happen in real time.
Right.
Like what happened to ISN, that's happening now.
Yeah.
The only thing that we haven't seen is the broadcast where there are armed men with guns outside. We've been trying to report the truth. They won't let us, but I'm tired. We're doing it now.
It's tricky, and that's the thing about. I kind of feel like the statement of don't politicize it is kind of its own trap now.
Yeah.
Because now everything is political, so it's basically.
Yeah, people will force everything.
He's literally saying not politicizing it is in and of itself political.
Yeah, and that's the trap though that people tend to fall into. It's this idea that if you ask for it not to be political, this is really what people mean by that. At least from my experience is. Don't put all of your energy into like I must put X politic point in here. Just write it from your soul. Just create your art.
Right.
Create your story.
Right. Can you not be divisive, and can you just keep it fair and balanced?
Yeah. Because ultimately, at least we're several writers on this panel, so I think that we could kind of speak to the idea that whenever we write, our beliefs, the things we hold dear, can come across in our stories. Our worries, our fears, these sorts of things, they pour out of us naturally. Yeah. You don't have to go out of your way to make a certain point. It'll just come out of you. And then when you look back on it, you're like, oh, well, this is kind of the allegory that it looks like I ended up creating.
But he's such a fucking good writer.
I know.
It's infuriating how good his writing is.
I know. To him kind of saying that Babylon 5 technically always had political stuff and statements.
It did, because it did.
Yeah. If he had gone that route, like generally, if you're world building, that world has rules. If that world has rules, that world has people probably enforcing those rules. And if that's the case, yes. There are politics at play in your writing, in your story, in your world. It doesn't mean that the story has to be about them. They could be running in the background.
Yeah.
But if he had said something like that, like, yes, the original touched on themes that are considered political and straight up politics. So, this one will. If he had said something like that, but the way he put it, and then the whole later calling somebody fascist, it's like, nope.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a tongue-in-cheek nod to calling someone fascist. I don't think it was like an actual you're a fascist, calling him a fascist, because he just says it as like one word. I don't even think there's punctuation on it. So
it
really just
I'm not
kind
sure.
of
glimmer of hope, but I feel like the red flags are outweighing the not.
Yeah, I think the Narn aren't going to have a planet anymore. I think that the Narn are kind of because eventually there kind of came a point where the Narn were everywhere and they were doing small odd jobs. Obviously, in season 3, when stuff happened, we'll leave it at that. The Narn came in and bolstered security forces were working for the station.
Right.
Jakar really did him a solid by doing that, because the war with the Centauri that the Narn started didn't go so well for him. Well, I got a feeling that the Narn are just going to kind of be everywhere. They're going to be really looked down upon, and it's going to be a big allegory for.
Well, you knew what the allegory was in the first place, right?
And the thing, I think it comes to this though.
The original. To
kind of get to the main idea of what our fear is where are you taking inspiration? Does he still want to be like Harlan Ellison, which is what led him to do what he does? Or is he like someone like Mags Visaggio, where they think the Pravda did nothing wrong? Because that's basically what people want. It's like they want to know, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a good fiction writer, or do you want to be the Pravda? Because like the two are truly exact opposites of one another.
What's the intersectionality of the Psychor and the telepaths? Because that's something we haven't really talked about at all.
I really don't want to go down that road. I would rather just
wait for it.
I was going to say, I want to see Earth style, maybe.
That's one thing I would love to see. I would love to see more with the telepaths, but you're never going to get another Bester.
No.
Bester, played by Walter Koenig, was just so fucking good. You love to hate him. You love it when he shows up.
Yeah, he was brilliant. That was a great. Chekhov was Chekhov, but Walter Koenig as Bester that's some of his best work ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like you can't talk to them. You can talk to me. People like talking to me.
I mean, without like giving anything away, like that whole scene on the train on Mars between Bester and Garibaldi is like one of my favorite moments in the whole show.
Oh god, it's so good.
Because Garibaldi's just straining. He's like, "You mother!" It's so good.
I don't want to spoil this, but I want to make sure that Piper understands that scene. Imagine that you've been played. You've been played super hard. You couldn't do anything about it. You were played against your will. And now the person that's been playing you has come to tell you to your face he's been playing you. Here's how he played you. Oh, and as soon as he gets off this train, you're going to remember everything you did. You're going to go back to normal knowing what you've done. And that you can't do anything about it. And even if you somehow find me, I've left a few surprises so that you can't even touch me. You'll never be able to do anything about it.
Bro!
And then he waves his hand, and he gets off the train and leaves. And then it all hits you at once.
Yep.
Bruh.
Yes! Okay, let's watch some alien sex now.
Ready?
Oh no.
Good. Oh. Boom shabba lubba lubba, boom shabba lubba lubba. Hey there, 3 bags full. You come here often? Yes, I do. Dinner shabba lubba lubba, drink shabba lubba lubba, kiss, 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 kiss. Grab! How do you like it so far? I slept with you the other night. You didn't call, you didn't write. I think you did it just for spite. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'll have what she's having.
Oh, boy.
This is what I said. I definitely do Ivanova, man. Come on.
Of all the things that you could have come up with to say was Earth style, you went with this.
This is definitely made in the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that you will not be able to get away with this modern day, because again, this is exploiting another culture.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of them, but it's so funny. It's like, yeah, these guys are assholes. They spent the entire episode being an asshole. Oh, this guy? You can't see it because of the video quality, but he's smiling.
He knows what's up.
Because he knows.
Oh.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Tell me about your portfolio. Oh, yes! 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 Lie to me about your family. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yes! 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 Oh, God, you're good.
What do I do now?
Old style, you roll over and go to bed. New style, you go out for pizza and I never see you again.
Just the look on her face.
This guy's trying so hard not to smile and ruin the shot. And I don't know if this was something she practiced or if James is like, figure it out.
Just wing it.
Camera's rolling. Figure it out.
Is this a running gag of Ivanova, or it's just Claudia Christian? What do I do? Figure it out.
Oh my god.
Perhaps I'll call you.
And this guy, this effing guy.
At the end of the episode, that dude leaves and sends her a message. What's it say? It says, "Next time, my way."
Oh Lord. I love it.
There's an obscure rom-com that she was in. I think predates Babylon 5 called Hexed. That performance is very much reminiscent of what was in that movie.
Oh goodness.
We have this good clip that Mike Murphy brought us that I think we got to play, and this was Delenn saying, if you value your lives, be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's total like spoiler stuff. I don't know if you care or not.
I don't know.
Spoilers for season 1?
Oh no, we're like in
season
season 3.
3.
Okay. Then I don't care. I'll forget.
Okay.
Okay. A big battle just took place right on Babylon 5's doorstep.
It's a big ass bluff, dude.
And they're at the end of their wits. Like they gave it all that they got. They have nothing left in the tank.
Oh boy.
Damage report. Damage to all sectors. They're still fighting in Brown sector.
Oh no.
Get some more troops down there. Hull integrity? Not good. EVA teams en route. It's a good thing this stopped when it did. We couldn't take much more.
Incoming.
This is Captain Drake to Babylon 5. You are ordered to surrender and prepare to be boarded by order of President Clark.
Stop! Stop!
Stopping. Let's just say that this is to not spoil anything. He's just in a really impossible fucking position.
Right.
Yeah. I can feel it.
Sheridan,
They took a beating in Sector Brown, so
if you know what I'm saying.
Ew.
Ew.
But you know how like everyone's always talking about wanting strong female characters? You're about to see a strong female character. And it doesn't need to be overstated. They don't need to, have the female force and be a freaking Mary Sue. No. She has this moment that completely changes the course of events. It saves pretty much fucking everybody because she's got a pair of balls or ovaries or whatever. She's made of steel. And that's a great character. You don't.
I hate that people are pretending like there's never been strong female characters, and it's like, no, they've been there throughout like all media. It's just they didn't have to sit there with a sign over their head saying "strong female character here." But
this is like force of spirit, of will, and conviction. What makes someone truly strong? It isn't their ability to like swing a sword or shoot a gun or manipulate, magic space energy. This is true strength right here.
The scene before this scene here really, really exemplifies it, because that's where she's talking to the Grey Council and calls them all a bunch of pussies.
Right.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let me find the right tab. Here we go.
Captain. Jump points forming right on top of us. How many? 4.
Look at that face.
This is Ambassador Delenn of the Minbari. Babylon 5 is under our protection. Withdraw. Be destroyed.
Negative. We have authority here. Do not force us to engage your ship.
Why not? Only one human captain has ever survived battle with the Minbari fleet. He is behind you. You are in front of me. If you value your lives, be somewhere else.
So for context, we mentioned
What the fucking line, dude?
I know.
Yes.
For context, Sheridan there, he has a name. His nickname is Star Killer. I mentioned it earlier.
Oh yeah.
What he did during the war to destroy it was a flagship, if I recall correctly.
The Black Star.
Yeah, the Minbari flag. Yeah, called the Black Star. And what he did was he attached nukes to asteroids and then sent out a distress signal knowing that they would follow. And then when they went by the asteroids, he detonated the fucking nukes and destroyed the ship.
Oh,
It was the only victory that humans scored in the entire war.
Yeah, needless to say, he's a bad motherfucker.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
they stayed mad at him about that because that's not a real victory.
Right.
They still call him Starkiller. And that gets him into trouble a little bit.
He is behind me. You're in front of me.
I love it.
Value your life. Be somewhere. I mean, like,
yes.
Oh, and she delivers it so well. It's just like, all right, Dylan, you know.
Oh yeah.
And in the scene before this, she'd already amped shit up by going to the people that run her government and calling them a bunch of pussies because they won't help.
Oh, nice.
And then she comes in like this. She didn't come in and go like, as a woman, I just want to let you know that,
Dylan doesn't need empowerment. You know, like this whole idea of female, she doesn't need that.
She doesn't come in and she's like,
she's fine.
This
Leave
is
her
my
alone."
rocket captain, okay? And he is wonderful. And I shouldn't say he, but no, it's look, the baddest motherfucker, the only guy who's ever actually beat us is behind me. You're in front of me. If you don't move, I'm going to fucking kill you. You don't stand a chance here.
Earth Force ships. This is Ambassador Delenn. Pronouns she, her.
Right. Oh my god.
The
I
best
feel a little
thing,
vomit.
though, is this is also a total fucking bluff. Like the balls. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if you're saying that that they wouldn't, the rest wouldn't go help, and she was calling them pussies, and I'm guessing she was like, "This is all I can figure out what to do is to take my dudes."
Right. Like 3 ships.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But I mean, like the balls on that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Nobody would do it. Like,
No,
no
like-
sane person. And she just does it with pure determination. You see it on her face when she comes
No
through
faltering.
the gate. There's no faltering. Exactly. Her mask does not crack. That's strength.
I
Fucking
like
amazing.
that. Like these
Love it.
clips have been really fun.
Oh yeah. The show's awesome. It's very 90s. It's obviously done on a shoestring budget, but even so, JMS was just able to work magic with it. Not to mention, a lot of the acting is really good.
Yeah.
And that, like the acting and the dialogue, which I mean, in a show like this, given what Babylon 5's concept is, it's going to live and die by the dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Now-
DS9, it just knocked it straight out of the park.
Now,
Like if you can look past the neon and the haircuts and the bad CGI, like it really, to me at least, it genuinely is like one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, I think I've got just like I have a stack of things I'm supposed to be reading. I got a stack of things I'm supposed to be watching, but it's gonna go on the list. So see, I didn't know what I was gonna contribute to this show, but I do like that I came in here like making fun of you nerds. And so you got to spend the show convincing me that all right, it's worth giving a shot.
All right. Mike Murray also sent Jakar in the elevator after when he's in there with Londo.
Phenomenal scene. Yep.
All right.
I hate that we only do these 30 seconds at a time, though.
Yeah. So what has happened is there was an explosion while they were in the elevator, which is basically like a turbo lift.
Okay.
I don't remember if they explained if the elevator shafts only go up and down or if they go left and right as well.
I believe it's only up and down.
Which is all, it's relative because
Right, there is no up.
yeah. Big fucking loop.
Green 2. Green 2.
Oh no. It's just starting to settle in.
So for a bit of context for Piper, so like these two kind of like I was talking about this around when you came back in. They kind of have like a frenemy bromance thing going on for the bulk of the show, but at this point they are heated enemies with each other because this is after the whole thing of like the Centauri conquering the Narns. So they are at each other's throats right now, and they somehow, because it's TV, they get stuck in this elevator together.
Yeah, I mean it's a trope that's been used, but as long as you use it effectively, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a trope.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Hello?
Sorry, buddy, your green number 2 is broken.
Is there anyone out there? Can anyone hear me?
There's no one there.
What was your first clue?
Right.
Yeah, Babylon 5 is separated by color, the different sectors.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Is blue is I think blue is for diplomatic and admin. Red, I think, is the actual staff of Babylon 5. Yellow is for aliens that do not breathe air. They breathe something else.
Oh, neat.
Brown, I don't remember what brown is. I think brown was storage.
Right, but it also kind of doubled as the slums, right? Or was that the other?
That's down below as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you had gray sector, which the less we talk about, the better, which was engineering.
Oh, okay.
And my favorite trivia that I've never been able to forget since I found it out was, so Andreas Kotlis, classically trained actor, but he's also the one-armed man in the Fugitive movie.
I just remember the stories about him just having a passion for smoking.
Yeah.
He was a passionate smoker.
That's how it was described. As
that's a great description. He was
got a
passionate
little uncomfortable.
smoker. I like it.
I think it was Stephen First or somebody else described him that way, and it would just be step out, say in the middle of between cuts, and there he is in full makeup, with a cigarette. That's what killed him too, I believe, was lung cancer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no.
He died doing what he loved.
It appears that
Getting
we
cancer.
are on our own. I don't know how long I have been unconscious.
2 standard hours.
2 hours? And you have done nothing? I will point out to you that this door is extremely hot. There is a very good chance there is a fire out there. And even if the fire doesn't get in here, the smoke and the heat will eventually make it impossible to breathe. And we will die in here.
He does not give a shit.
Yep. I love Jakar.
He makes me think of that gif, that one dude saying "good."
Right.
Jakar, who radicalized you?
God,
you did.
Malari, you did.
Hey, Mo Biggs.
That was another thing that he was big for, was doing those death wails.
Yeah.
Right.
So he died a lot.
They're doing it again.
With enough effort, we can probably force our way through the ceiling. Perhaps I have not made myself sufficiently clear. There is no telling when help will come. Unless we get ourselves out of here on our own, we'll probably die here. So we must work together.
No.
I don't think so.
I love it. It's just
Okay, Jakar would be a shit poster.
Right.
When are people going to realize that the Centauri are the greatest empire in the world and universe? No.
The Bugs Bunny one.
Yeah. Oh God, Jakar on Space Twitter posting surprise Pikachu face.
Oh
God.
Space Twitter's a terrifying thought, though.
Oh no, I almost want to make a parody account. And I don't even know this character.
Everyone likes to hang out on Narnchan.
Right.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. My person just had a mega seizure and it made my boobs go all over the place. It was pretty neat.
We can't have that. Get your fellas in check.
They're ladies. Duh.
The ladies.
Puppy.
Why would my boobs be dudes?
I don't
You
know.
never
It's it's current year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't ginger my titties. They are non-binary. They them.
What are you talking about? There's two of them.
Yeah.
You're absolutely binary.
Okay, they are very binary. They are filled with gender fluid. Shut up.
You know that when you say non-binary, you separate yourself into a world of binary and non-binary,
I
and come
know,
back
I
to
love
binary
it.
again.
Eating a binary. Yeah.
That's why they just need to say androgynous, like the good old days.
Yeah. Androg.
It's almost like we had this shit figured out before they came around.
Right?
Yeah, that-
Made new,
the words
more
used to mean
complicated
things.
stuff for it.
Fucking millennials.
They, them makes sense in this case. Yes, that's true. My tits identifies their pronouns are they,
Yeah,
them.
no, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
No.
You want to
No,
live as
lol.
much as I? Hmm?
Oh, yes, but I would much rather see you dead.
Let's see. Well, here I am. God, kill me. God, kill me.
You forget the terms of our surrender. The penalty for the killing of any Centauri by any Narn will be the death of 500 Narns, including the perpetrator's own family.
Man, you're bringing up old shit. It was last week. Yeah,
That was 4
old
days
shit.
ago. That was 4 days ago.
Man, that happened 4 days ago.
You need to stop living in the fucking past.
All right.
Let us continue.
But I don't have to kill you. I don't have to do anything. And I still get to watch you die. I find this most appealing.
Say, we must work together.
No, as the humans say, up yours, die.
Eat shit, lol.
Go take it, Sector Brown, buddy.
Oh. Oh.
You are mad, you know that?
Oh, he's pissed.
We're in here. Can anyone hear us?
Best shit post ever, bro.
I hear you.
I like that character.
Fucking awesome.
Okay, well, I gotta go fuck off for a bit.
Oh.
I had to deal with some Indian shit, and I can't. My brain's all twisted up right now, unfortunately.
I know where it's been.
It was good seeing this stuff, cause yeah, frick. I might actually give a shit about this now.
Oh.
It takes a lot for me to give a shit about like any TV show, because like even though I like Invincible, I'm still stuck on episode 2 because I can't bring myself to give a shit to watch it. It takes a lot. Like somebody has to sit with me, be like, okay, we're gonna watch the show. I'd be like, okay, what's it about? All right, it's about this dude being an invincible dick because his dad is like from an alien space, and it's also like it's also like what would happen if like Superman was like a huge cock.
Yeah, I have noticed that anymore. I'm more prone to watching something if I'm watching it with people.
Yeah, I
than
can't-
by
I
myself.
can't.
I'm usually doing other
Anything
shit
else.
to entertain
Literally
myself.
anything.
Yeah, anything else.
But anyway, I'm kind of outsies right now. Thank you for like giving me a little bit more to like actually give a shit about the show. Good lord. Oh yeah.
You be careful with them bears. It sounds like you had a hard time this time getting that
Yeah.
bear getting
Yeah,
that
it
person to
was-
go fuck that bear.
It was pretty bad. Oh fuck. All right, see ya.
All right,
See you, Mike.
later, man.
Bye bye.
You guys want to keep going, or do you want to start rapping?
Well, I have to dip out in like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
no
might as
worries.
well start wrapping
Yeah,
up.
I got an early morning to get to, so.
Wait, Frog,
Do you have,
did
do
we
you have
reveal
one
the
more
ancient human god of frustration to Piper yet? The what?
Oh, Garibaldi's favorite thing.
Oh shit, that's right.
No, let's not spoil that. You gotta see what
Okay.
that is.
Garibaldi, Mr. Garibaldi is kind of looks like a dollar store Bruce Willis, but he does.
Yeah.
But he kind of sounds like it too, but
It's the hairline.
he's got the same voice type as Bruce Willis too, a little bit. But he's always trying to get people to go with him to his room and share in his favorite thing in the universe. Like, you want me to show you my favorite thing in the universe?
Well, second favorite thing.
Second favorite thing.
Yeah.
And nobody will go with him because it's just like, no, Garibaldi, I will not have sex with you. Delenn goes.
And the
Was it-
results are
wouldn't that be
hilarious.
more or less the ancient human god of blue balls then?
Just play the clip.
I gotta find it.
Do it.
Let's see. Damn it! Oh, shit.
The guy that played Garibaldi, I'm blanking on his name, but
Richard Doyle.
Jerry Doyle. There you go. He was. I read this interview with Straczynski a few years ago where he was talking about how I think it was around when Jerry died. He was saying that he was an open conservative and like they were always arguing like cats and dogs on the set. But and again, for like current year, like believe it or not, like they actually managed to work past their stuff and they deeply loved each other. So who knew?
Also,
Yeah, back when
I
that was
just DM'd you
possible.
the clip, Xavier.
We can disagree and still be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
not.
Who knew?
Apparently that's
Not
an archaic
anymore, bro.
concept.
It's not
Yep, I
true
got it.
anymore.
We got 2 clips here. The first is going to be I actually did find the God of Frustration.
Okay.
And then we're going to do Garibaldi's second favorite thing in the universe.
Okay.
I was studying this image. Is it one of his household gods? Oh, that's that. Yeah,
Yes.
in a way, I suppose it is. Sort of the Egyptian god of frustration. Most appropriate. Thank you.
It kind of is, yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
But the setup for this next one is that for this whole episode, Garibaldi has been inviting specifically women to come to his apartment and experience his favorite thing in the universe. Well, second favorite thing. And he says it exactly like that. And then the only person to go into his quarters was Ambassador Delenn. And you
'Cause
wonder
she's a
exactly.
boss.
Yes. And she ends up having a blast, as you're about to see.
Somewhere in this area. And you want me to find Planet X? Is that? The whip, Dodgers. Oh,
This is my second favorite thing in the universe.
because there's no way around outer space like Dodgers.
I think we gotta press play like a little bit sooner than 30.
Yeah, just because it's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so we've got like a copyright within a copyright thing here.
Yeah, pretty
We're
much.
accepting this stuff.
Whoopsies, but that is adorable.
Especially watch the way that she looks at the popcorn.
Explain this sparks to me again.
And the silly thing in reverse.
she's trying her hardest to get it. She really wants to understand it, and it's just the wonderment with her sells the scene so well.
I do. I love that. I like that she had one piece of popcorn that she just kind of held there, and then he went every time he offered popcorn. She was like, "But I already have one. I only have so many hands. I don't."
Garibaldi was such the blue collar regular guy connection to the show.
Right.
He always gave you like just. He was a great avatar for the viewer to be in the show and understand and disseminate the universe.
Yeah, he was always one of my favorites. And then towards the end of the show, they evolve his character and basically turn him into a private eye, and that just made me love him even more.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
But I think that's all we can really do. We can sit here and hope and pray that JMS is a writer first, and although he has his politics and the messages may come through that he'll put the quality of the work first.
Yeah, that'll come through the same way he's done it before.
Because it kind of happened that way.
Charge your crystals, all that good shit.
Make sure you charge your crystals Earth style.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really glad that I could share Babylon 5 with everybody. I'm glad I could share Babylon 5 with you, Piper, because it is one of my favorite things in the universe.
Oh, I was gonna say, and when I call people nerds and geeks and stuff, I say that fully aware that I am one too, even if it's not
a
for the
term of
same thing.
endearment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I sit here and go, "Pfft," it's just like when I call people weebs, like, "Ugh, look at these weebs." And I'm like,
They didn't call me a sexless troll living in my mom's basement. She lives in my house. Okay.
You just happen to live in the basement.
Yeah. You live with your mom, dude. She lives with me. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, especially Neff, because I believe we've met before. I was glad to meet you. And it was
Yeah,
Nick.
it was a good time, man. Thanks for having me.
I believe it was
a lot
Nick.
of fun.
Dreaded Dinosaur. What was your name? Nick?
Eric.
Eric, I'm sorry. How did I get Nick?
How
It's
did you
close,
get Nick?
Eric?
Half a
Nick.
syllable.
Yeah.
Half a
I
syllable.
was almost there. No, haven't been the same since I had that stroke. But anyway, thank you, Micah, for coming, and thank you, Mike Murphy, for coming.
Hey, always a pleasure, man.
no,
And-
folk, I'm not drinking, but my avatar seems to be.
And Piper,
That's my
thank
story,
you.
and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you for coming and being the audience stand-in as we bombard you with all of this Babylon 5 nonsense. And now do what we say and go watch Babylon 5.
Right? Y'all should hold my hand and watch it with me.
You better make some popcorn.
Right,
Oh,
we were
yeah.
basically Garibaldi and she was Delenn.
Yep.
This whole episode.
It all comes full circle. Thank you to the chat for coming, and I hope you will check out Babylon 5, and let us all pray that JMS is bigger than his politics.
Or at least woke Twitter.
Oh, yeah. All right, and with that, we are going to go out on some cocaine.
Woo!
Later.
Piper, you going to say the thing?
Oh, shit! I'm sitting here like, yep, anytime now he gonna push the button. I forgot. Bye-bye.
Come on, man.
That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh?